Welcome to
MIA2K,
your ticket from Miami to Seoul.
We're Kathy and Laura, and we're so happy you could join us today.
You probably know us from, just kidding, you don't know us yet. We're just two Miami girls with obsessive fandom tendencies who fell into the inescapable void of Korean entertainment. And we're here to share our insights and spill all the tea only grown fans like us can enjoy.
We've done all the research and acclimating so you don't have to. Before we begin, please make sure you're following us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you love visuals like us, you can watch us on our YouTube channel. We drop episodes with our hot and sunny takes every week.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
So,
Hi.
Guys, get excited. We are excited, clearly, already. Get excited even more, because today we are welcoming our very first guest on our podcast. Woo!
Yay!
So we found her podcast, which is dedicated to reviewing everything K-dramas, when we started our podcast. And we were immediately impressed by everything about her. Her style, the critiques, the ideas, the structure of the episodes, like a whole professional queen. I can't even. So when we decided ourselves to dedicate an episode to the world of K-dramas, we just knew that she had to be a part of it, especially as a fellow 305 Till I Die.
Yes.
South Florida sister from another mister. Yeah.
Before we introduce her, we want to share that we're recording as Hurricane Ian is about to make landfall, and as Floridians, al mal tiempo buena cara, or we make a lemonade when we're giving lemons. We actually hope that it all just falls apart and that we just get a day off of work, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, please welcome Jess from ATC Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.
Yay!
Jess, we're so happy you could join us. Thank you for your time. Please introduce yourself, share your social media info, how you started with K-dramas, and anything else you want to share with us.
Wow, this is a lot of pressure. So yeah, my name is Jessica, and I run ATC, Daebak K-Rambles. ATC is kind of weird, but it stands for Always the Critic, because me and my usual co-host Rico started as a movie podcast, and we've had that podcast for like 5 years. And all that time, and even before, I was watching K-dramas the whole time. And it kind of led to developing Daebak K-Rambles, because I had this blog and it was doing really well. And I was like, Rico, what do you think if we like just do a podcast about K-dramas? And he was like, I don't watch K-dramas. And I was like, I get that. I think it might be like a good educational thing. Like, would you be down to watch some and like review them? And he was basically game for it. He was like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't mind. So I went ape shit. Like, I went nuts, like setting up the socials, setting up the format, like picking the dramas we were going to watch and making sure that he watched them too. Cause you know, it's so easy to be like, okay, we have to watch Crash Landing on You. And he'd be like, all right, bet. 3 weeks later, I'll talk to him and be like, hey, did you like start watching Crash Landing on You? He'd be like, oh no, I didn't get a chance to. So like, it was like a constant struggle to like get the schedule down and actually sit down and record. And honestly, I was surprised that it went so well and that people have really started to actually listen to, like, it's wild that people are actually listening to the Daebak K-Rambles podcast. Like, it still blows my mind. And I'm really grateful that it's done so well, because this has been my outlet for so long, like just by myself, no one to talk to, no one to like interact with, and to actually put my thoughts out there and review these K-dramas is like such a weight off of my like mind and heart. I don't know how to put it, but thank you so much again for having me on. And that's like the miniature version of how Daebak K-Rambles got started. Obviously, you can find us on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter at ATC Daebak Pod. And I am excited to talk K-dramas with you guys, because we have been talking in the DMs all up on TikTok about K-pop, about K-dramas. And like, this is a culmination, really.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
We're
we've
I'm
been
excited.
building up to this moment.
Yes.
We have.
Yeah.
We're so grateful for your time. And because of that, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Lights, camera, action. Okay. So let's start with talking about what's so great about K-dramas, Laura.
We know you have a long running movie review podcast as well, and you really know what you like and don't like right away. So, what did you like about K-dramas? What do you think gets people hooked on them, despite the language being different and the culture being totally different?
It's a lot of things that get people hooked on K-dramas, and it all obviously is a lot of the same for people and very different for other people. So I think these are some of the main reasons why people watch K-drama is the actors are hot, period. Attractive actors, attractive leads, always. You are never going to find, I don't know, like a Steve Buscemi in a K-drama. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not going to be an unconventionally attractive person in a K-drama, and they use it to their advantage. They're always having these shower scenes, makeover scenes, gratuitous shots of these actors, shirtless scenes for no reason. And that's to play up the model aspect of all of the actors. New culture obviously is another reason why people watch K-dramas, is because they're watching a different culture than their own and learning new things. And that's a big reason why I liked to watch K-dramas initially. It was that I was like, this is totally different, but I'm finding commonalities as well with my own culture. And that seems really nice, especially to understand the family dynamics through the lens of my own like Hispanicness. So I like that as well. Mostly clean content. I think a lot of people are kind of fed up with like the HBO-ness of TV nowadays, where there's just like no rating, nothing is off limits, lots of gratuitous sex scenes, and K-dramas don't have that. They just are no foul language, violence is minimal, love scenes like rarely progress past kissing, and nowadays it's becoming more common for them to kiss like French kissing in K-dramas, and that's kind of a westernized feature that's come into K-dramas. But for the most part, you're getting excited about hand holding, about piggyback rides. Like it's nothing like crazy.
I definitely agree with that because, for example, like Game of Thrones, I refused to watch it because I was like, this just feels like sex is like a surprise in your face kind of factor. And I was like, I'm not about that. And the whole like making something so romantic without having to introduce a lot of the tropes that we have here. It was like at the very beginning, my stomach and like my heart would flutter and I'm like, ooh, this is great.
And we were totally supposed to buy into the whole twin brother and sister incest dynamic like it was normal, you know? So
bro, nothing gets people riled up like a little bit of incest and like white people with white hair. So not naming names, but okay. Another reason why people love K-dramas is the OST. I think people kind of love to have unique music that reminds them of the show. And that's something that you have too in movies where it's like, this song reminds me of this movie. And you have that literally every time you watch a K-drama, is you're like, you can have this OST that sticks with you, that reminds you of the K-drama, brings you back to a certain scene or a certain thing, makes you think of a certain character. And that's really a positive way to think back on a K-drama and have it kind of bleed into your regular life. Genre hopping is crazy in K-drama. There's a drama to suit everybody's taste. There's light comedies, romance comedies are popular. You have historical, fantasy, sci-fi, action, romance, so many other drama ingredients. Sometimes you have a drama that you think is like a sci-fi fantasy, and then it turns out to be like more thriller. And you have all of these hodgepodge of genres within a single show. And so there is something for everybody to watch.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that also pulled me into the K-drama world, because with American television, it's a lot of CSIs and NCISs.
True
and
crime.
It's great, but it gets boring. Like
it
just, I want something else. And sometimes with K-dramas, you'll find one, like you said, that like you think it's going to be something and then it's completely something else. And even the fantasy aspects and the science fiction aspects are very different from what we do over here when we like touch those genres.
Yeah. When I was explaining my initial obsession with everything K to my family, I said something like, I already know what's going on in the West. Like, we're from Latin America. So like, I already know what's going on over there. We live in the US. I already know what's going on over here. but I've never really discovered that. And it was like a whole new world of possibilities. Like it seemed so new and different. And it is. And it really genuinely is. And it's very interesting. So I fully agree. And I think people are missing out. And myself from 2-3 years ago was heavily missing out and had no idea. And I've never been more wrong in my life. So
yeah, globalization is such a big concept, but you get it when you start watching something that's outside of your comfort zone.
100%.
And, you know, I've watched other Asian dramas. Like I watched Thai dramas, Japanese dramas, Chinese dramas. And then I watched like a Turkish drama once, and that was like a whole new like ball game for me too. I was like, whoa, this is different. And I really liked the language and learning a new culture and all the things that drew people to K-drama.
I think when you mentioned Turkish dramas, my mom is obsessed with Turkish dramas. Like
Same.
She has a million that she's watched. She like makes sure to record it. She watches this like I think she's watched one like maybe twice or 3 times already, because like they keep repeating it in different channels, and she's like, oh my god, I have to watch it. I think they're just being close-minded, because if they like Turkish dramas, I think it's not that far to just hop on. I mean, geographically it is, but like
yeah,
in like types, it's not that far.
Right. I agree. But speaking of like accessibility, that's a huge reason why K-dramas are getting out into the mainstream and people are watching more and more, is because it's really accessible now to watch K-dramas, because you can watch it on Netflix, you can watch it on Amazon Prime, you can watch it on streaming. Like just streaming is made such a huge difference in the world of K-dramas and people discovering them. And Netflix was pushing them and creating them themselves. So it's a huge incentive for them to push K-dramas because they're going to make money off of it. Accessibility is huge because it used to be so difficult to find K-dramas.
I was going to say I saw there was like a meme of a few weeks ago, this K-drama streaming platform that I guess went out of service in like 2018 or something like that, or something else.
Oh my God. So this is a trauma point for me. So it was called Drama Fever, and it was either in 2018, I think, was when it shut down. It was basically Drama Fever and Vicky were the two that you could go to, and Netflix had some K-dramas. They were just starting to like get into the K-drama game, and Drama Fever had really good subtitles, really good selection, a ton of it was literally like Vicky. If Vicky didn't have it, Drama Fever had it, vice versa. And all of a sudden we got a mass email that says, thank you for all these years, blah blah blah, like Drama Fever's shutting down, you'll get a refund for the prorated membership and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I like lost my shit. Like everyone was freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? I literally got the email and I remember sitting there and being like, what am I going to do now? Like I was in the middle of watching a show and I just like, I had the app on my television. And when I went into the app, it was like gone. Like you could not access it. It just had that message. It was like error or whatever. I was like, what am I going to do? What episode was I on in this drama? Like it was just a curveball, like a life curveball.
And horrible.
It does.
It is really such a niche thing now to remember Drama Fever and to remember when it shut down and the chaos that ensued. But that, to answer your question, it was called Drama Fever.
I saw
miss it every other day.
Around, and it was like everybody was posting about it. Like you said, it was collective trauma. Everybody was trauma bonding, remembering the good times of Drama Fever. And I was like, oh damn, okay. Well, another thing that I wasn't here for. And
I mean, if Vicky shut down tomorrow, what, like
the chaos,
that is what happened with Drama. That's what happened.
Like a best friend leaving.
It was terrible. 0 out of 10 would recommend. Anyway, to wrap up, what I think appeals to people for K-dramas is the format, which is the biggest thing for me personally, is that a typical K-drama is just 16 to 20 episodes and then you're done. You don't have to come back for season 2, season 3. You don't have to worry about, oh, they left on a cliffhanger. The story's not done, all this stuff. No, it's a one whole connected story with a clear conclusion. Well, sometimes not a clear conclusion, but a conclusion. And, it's longer than a movie, but shorter than other shows. Like in America, we have multi-season shows, like Grey's Anatomy, which is, I can't believe that's still ongoing. And even in Latin America, you have the novelas that last for like a few months and then you're done. But again, it's longer than 16 to 20 episodes, an hour piece. So all of this build up and then you get to move on. There's like this sense of closure where you're like emotionally invested and you have this perfect thing and then you can move on. And it's a lot less chance of filler episodes, trying to get to like a certain number of episodes and that sort of thing. So I really love just 16 to 20 episodes and then I get to start a new K-drama. And I never liked coming back for multiple seasons. Oh, I never liked this too. When people were like, season 1 is really good, but then season 2 is really bad. But you need to watch season 2 so that you understand what happens in season 3, because then season 3 picks up again and it's really good. But then there's a couple episodes where they've had a writer's strike and then it's not so good. I fucking hate when people start talking about shows like that.
Oh, that was so
hate
funny.
it.
That reminds me of Netflix when they were just starting out with the original content and they were doing House of Cards and Orange is the New Black.
Right.
And both of those shows, season 3 for both of them was terrible, was absolutely fucking terrible for both shows. Nothing happened. Yeah. So that literally struck a chord with me because I fully remember being so angry about that. But again, you can't go to season 4 without watching season 3.
That's the fucking like,
so
that's how they get you. And I never liked that format and the inconsistency of it. So 16 to 20 episodes, and we'll talk about the changes for that too, because the episode count is changing. But I think ultimately K-dramas are addicting because they take cheap shots, if you get my meaning. Like nearly every episode has like a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah.
And the tension is building up. You have all this intimacy between romantic leads, and then you're like really excited for progression physically between them, where it's like, oh my God, he gave her a piggyback ride. Oh my God, they hugged. Oh my God. Like it's like all these like addictive things, and you're waiting for the kiss and you're waiting for all these things. So I feel like all of this tension and buildup is earned in the show. And again, like the cliffhanger endings are just rude, but it's part of what makes you click play on the next episode.
Right. Yeah. And touching back on something that you mentioned earlier, Jess, or we were talking about with the cultural differences and the language differences. You've probably, and we talked about this with the Drama Fever, but you've probably used like every K-drama platform at this point. So which ones in your experience have the best subtitle service? Because also you posted a great TikTok today that talked about why, like how you feel when you see that Netflix translates Hyung to the name of the person.
Yeah.
And also like for me, it's triggering when they translate oppa to babe. So angry when I see that, especially like Squid Game did that, you know?
The worst one was He's in the Trap, that translated on Netflix. Oppa was translated to Cutie Pie. I was so confused because it was like my second K-drama and I was like, why is he making such a big deal by being called Cutie Pie? Like, who gives a shit? It's Cutie Pie. Like, it wasn't until like I went on some website that explained the episodes and they added like cultural references that I was like, oh, right. Okay, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
so with all that said, Jess, what are the best platforms in your opinion for someone who's getting started with K-dramas?
Today it's Vicky, VIKI. Vicky subbers work so hard to fully 100% sub a drama like within a day or two of it being released, and they're all volunteers and they're doing this out of the goodness of their hearts.
It's crazy.
And they truly do a really fantastic job subbing, and way better than Netflix. And what's confusing to me now is that Netflix, who knows what happens behind the scenes with these translators? Maybe they're doing a fantastic job translating, but Netflix has stipulations and rules where they're like, we just want this, we don't want that. I don't want cultural context because we don't have the programming to put that on the screen. Whatever the case may be, that dumbs down the subtitles where you get Cutie Pie for oppa and the names babe, things like that, just wildly inaccurate in English. Netflix is basically trying to appeal to more people. If someone who has no idea what the Korean culture is started watching a K-drama, the subtitles would make perfect sense to them. But because we know a little bit more about K-culture and the dynamics, what oppa means in different contexts, it's really bad for us because it's not getting the intention and the relationships right
Yeah.
between characters.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like honestly, the Squid Game one, because
Oh,
Netflix didn't know Squid Game was gonna blow up the way that it did, right? But
Yeah,
it did.
That's true.
It's the most watched K-drama, like Netflix programming in the history of Netflix.
Yeah.
September 17th got assigned like Squid Game Day and
Squid
LA
Game
and all
Day.
these things. Like, you know, it's a really big deal because of what the show managed to do. And then the fact that they bastardize like both the Oppa to Babe thing
Yeah.
and the moment of the Hyung
Yes.
when like it was such a big pivotal moment of like showing how close they felt before the betrayal happens later on in the season. You know, like there was so much heaviness that just got completely glossed over by just going straight to the name, or it just hurts my soul. It really does, because everybody else that has no idea or context just completely missed out on this.
One of the reasons why
Yeah.
I refuse to watch, not refuse, but I don't like to watch, and I haven't watched a lot of the really popular K-dramas that have come out, it's because they're on Netflix and the translations just piss me off. So I always like to watch everything on Viki, hope that it's on Viki. But with all of these Netflix originals, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, Netflix originals have a reputation for being high budget, a little bit better quality. So it's tough when you have a Netflix original and you can't find it anywhere else, but you know the sub is not going to be 100. Hopefully Netflix takes the cue to kind of wake up in terms of subtitles and translations and try and be a little more accurate with it, try and be a little more inclusive, culturally sensitive, whatever buzzword you want to use, because it is a bit of a shame, especially when Squid Game came out and a shit ton of people started watching K-drama, never seen a K-drama before.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the significance of things between characters and the weight of the betrayal is particular, the one what Kathy was talking about. So
Yeah.
what's funny to me is that I started watching, my first K-drama was a Netflix K-drama, not a Netflix original, but I found it on Netflix and started watching it. And I vividly remember there being, I don't know where they got these subtitles or licensed these subtitles from, but they had definitions for things.
Oh,
Look
Yeah.
at that.
And I was
they
like,
went back.
oh, okay. So oppa means whatever. And I distinctly remember learning some concepts and some like, what is this festival they're talking about? Like different things like that, where I was like, why are they freaking out? And they would have like a little
Context clue
explanation. Yeah.
the devolution is not
And
given.
I don't know if it's just because they have their own in-house subtitle people that
Must be.
are just doing like the bare minimum. Who knows what kind of internal process the subtitles, the translations go through before they end up on your screen, because they could be amazing translations and then they go through like multiple steps. There's probably red tape involved. And then they just they're like, we can't have a whole thing on Hyung. We can't just put Hyung as Hyung either in the subtitles, because no one's going to understand what Hyung means, even if you just italicize it or whatever, just to drive home the fact that this is a romanization of a Korean word. So it's a slippery slope. I feel probably Netflix feels like it's a slippery slope, but the TikTok that you're referring to was a little bit contentious. Like the comments got way out of hand because people were chiming in and feeling the same way. Different translator people. I'm a translator, and I could tell you that I was like,
triggered. The community was triggered.
like, oh no. Yeah, the community was a bit triggered for that.
Man.
For
Yeah, I
that
saw that the comments were getting like, I mean, I thought it was good because you were getting a lot of comments, but I didn't see like the bad ones.
But some people are like what else are they gonna translate it to if not like bro,
Look
brother,
at what Vicky
babe,
is doing.
right?
As a token Miami girl, I will say I'm okay with bro. I am.
Yeah.
Like I saw people complaining and I was like, you can't complain about babe the same way that you complain about bro, or vice versa, I guess, because it's like babe has a sexual connotation. Bro doesn't, or brother doesn't. So like you can't equate a South Korean woman calling someone oppa being translated to brother or bro. Like it's not the same. It's not as bad as babe. Like it's never going to be as bad as babe. So that's my 2 cents. And as a Miami girl, I do think bro is fine, but I know I'm being
I love calling people bro.
Same.
People bro all the time.
Like, bro.
Literally what I do. Like
Bro,
literally. Yeah.
Bro, what are you doing? Eating shit. Like there's some Miamisms
Exactly.
such as
Totally.
again, that's a translation too, because like you'll say comiendo mierda What?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I'm eating shit
I'm
in
eating
English. What does that mean?
It's
Like,
so
you know what I'm saying?
normalized
That's
for
another
us.
translation. Yeah.
No, at all. Like, go talk to someone in Tennessee and be like, I'm eating shit. And they'll be like, are you okay?
What?
Do I need to call somebody? Yeah, it's very Miami. It's extremely Miami. But anyway, Jess, so you've mentioned now that you've been an avid K-drama consumer for so many years at this point. So we're sure that a lot has changed since you started up until now. So can you please share with us and our audience some specifics as to what it is that you've noticed that has evolved or improved, or I don't know, maybe gone worse from early 2010s till now?
Okay, so the fashion and hairstyles have definitely evolved from the early 2010s. And I feel like in the next 10 years, we'll be like looking back at the 2020 dramas and being like, what the fuck are they wearing? What the fuck is that hair? And have the same like visceral reaction that we do to like the dated 2010 dramas.
Itaewon Class is gonna be scalped.
Itaewon, like literally.
Guys,
so
I like
Itaewon
his
Class.
hair.
You're the only one. You're the only one.
That
like
hair
his
is
hair.
horrendous, and I
really
hate
like
it. It is a crime to do that to Park Seo-joon. And what they did was they matched the webtoon or the manhwa or whatever the hell that they based the drama off of. They matched Park Seo-ye's hair from the drawing, from the illustration. And I'm like, why would you do that? It looks fucking terrible. And they did the same Kim Da-mi's character or something. So she had that short, like curly blonde bob, and it looked terrible as well. And like, just some things you just got to take creative license. And it can't be a 1-for-1 because like it looks like shit.
Yeah,
it looks so bad.
Laura, I'm gonna ask you how you feel about it in 2032. Yeah, sure.
I probably would like it. I mean, I'm going
stay on your
current right now.
Yeah, whatever.
I really like it.
Yeah, so
it looks really cute.
He looks incredible in anything. Like, it's not like he looks bad, but they tried to make him look bad.
He's the only person who could pull it off at this point. Because if you see a fool walking down the street with the Park Seo-ye do, you'll be like, who is that loser? Like, what are they doing? Do they think they look good?
It's gonna be giving Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber.
We don't have to go that far. It's giving 2000s chongo, the opposite of a chonga, with the little like, it's giving Anuel. Oh my God, I don't like it anymore.
Well, I'm glad that we got to this full circle moment with you. That was necessary.
So fashion, hairstyles, I would say there's fewer male leads nowadays that have like red flag toxic traits about them than there were originally. And obviously sometimes they get better and they become good people or whatever. That's part of their character growth. But I would say in general, they're just more green flags in K-dramas than red flags in K-dramas. Like I said before, there's a lot of catering to international audiences now and less like straight Koreanness in the K-dramas. Everything is a little bit watered down for an international audience. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I think that there should be some purity to it. Obviously, I'm glad there's less red flags in K-dramas, but I think that there's something really appealing about just having these dramas be innately Korean and cutting episode length and having 8-episode, 12-episode dramas. It's because of Netflix. Literally, we can blame Netflix for shortening the length of a K-drama season and creating multiple season K-dramas. And that's to appeal to an international audience. And I fucking hate it. I don't think we should do multiple season K-dramas. Multi-season K-dramas are like, that's not Bible.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Tell us how you really feel, Jess.
It's sacrilege. We should be begging forgiveness at the altar of K-drama. Anyway, lots of genre mixing happening now, more so than before. Older K-dramas seem to stick to one tone. And now there's a lot more like, they're under intense threat of death. And then there's a very sweet romantic moment thrown in there. And then, we're back to a mystery thriller. Like, it's a lot of like whiplash in terms of what is the tone of this drama? Like, what is the genre? And there's a lot more mixing nowadays, which I'm on the fence about if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But definitely a huge difference from earlier K-dramas.
One of the things that I liked about, I watched a lot of older K-dramas, and I do like the fact that K-dramas in general haven't been afraid of showing relationships between older women and younger men, not like in a creepy way, but just like a couple years older. You don't really see that here. You see more older men with very young women, but you don't really see the opposite. And I've always kind of liked that in K-dramas, that isn't seen as like weird or like, why would this younger person like this older woman? Like there isn't like a,
oh, are you talking about in a romantic sense?
Yeah,
Nuno romances.
Yes. Like I like that because women in the West tend to have like an expiration date
Yes, girl.
when they're hot, right? Only a couple of women have been able to hit their 50s and still be considered hot in Hollywood. So I just like that you can see that in K-dramas where like the older woman is with a younger like man, like romantically, and it's not seen as like a weird thing. It's like, yeah, it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah, like here it's like it's immediately the cougar narrative, which is not necessarily a tender
it's always
thing.
a Mrs. Robinson.
Correct.
Kind of.
It seems like in some ways a lot has changed, in other ways not that much, but we'll see what happens now that Netflix has really understood the value of the market and what they're going to bring us next, aside from Squid Game season 2. Please don't. But anyway, in general, we know that South Korea is a very trend-driven country, and that's probably the easiest way to split the eras that K-dramas have been through. So which trends have you personally loved, Jess? And which ones could you have done completely without?
So I love the trend of just physically tougher ladies in K-drama. I think that's a positive for just the depiction of women, because there was always this undercurrent in K-dramas where the undercurrent is it's a kind of a Cinderella story, and she is going through tough times and she is very resilient but ultimately very poor, and here comes this knight in shining armor and he is going to give her the desires of her heart and everything she's ever wanted and get her out of the situation that she's in. And kind of a damsel in distress was a common trope, but nowadays there's way less of that, and there's more just really imposing female leads and older leads who are taking possession of a show and really kind of being this beacon of not necessarily stereotypical aspects of females. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I really love that, where she doesn't need the guy, but she wants the guy.
It's nice.
So I mentioned 16 to 20 episodes, coming way down to even 6, 8, 10 episodes. It is so rare for me to be like, this was a great K-drama. I really want a season 2. I think the only one that I was like, wow, this was amazing, seasons 1 and 2, was Kingdom by Netflix as well.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm always like, well, they could have wrapped it up in a single season. So that's a trend that I like and don't like, depending. But again, Netflix is completely to blame for that.
Jess is messaging Netflix on the DMs on Twitter being like, this could have been an email. It
is basically, like the season ends and I'm like, cool. So remember how you guys were like trying to figure out what to do with the plot in episodes 6 and 7? Like you could have just wrapped up the story instead of like, and come back for season 2.
One job.
You had one job, and it's not to like suck us dry with our time and energy. And you don't have to do that to get people to subscribe to Netflix. Anyway, more K-dramas than ever are being based on Webtoons, which was always the case. K-dramas always look to Manhwas and Webtoons for content, for stories. But I feel like you throw a rock and you're going to hit a K-drama that was based on a Webtoon nowadays. Like, here's some that you might recognize from recent years: True Beauty, Yumi's Cells, Hellbound, DP, Love Alarm, Nevertheless, Navilera, Taxi Driver, My Roommate is a Gumio, She Would Never Know, At a Distance Spring is Green, The King's Affection, and So I Married the Anti-Fan. Those are within a couple years.
Yeah, maybe
all Webtoon dramas. The only thing that I like Netflix for doing is the higher budget. So I like that trend.
That's good.
Which is something that was missing from K-dramas, I feel like, was the artistry of filmmaking. And K-dramas are really kind of sinking their teeth into beautiful cinematography, making an effort in the way things are shot, the poetry of filmmaking and shot composition and things like that. They're truly like going for it now. And that's such a nice thing to see because, again, I've come from analyzing movies for years. And even though I'm not a filmmaker or like professional in any sense, I am appreciative of that. And I like the artistry that K-dramas seem to be employing now. The last trend that I absolutely hate is more ridiculous product placement in K-dramas.
It's a lot.
I don't know why, but now it's blatant. It's in your face. It's like part of the plot almost. So Subway is the worst offender. I will always take shots at Subway. Cars like Cadillac, Hyundai, like all of these different, like literally everybody in the show has a Cadillac. Everybody in the show has a Mercedes. Like it's too much. Restaurants or cafes that they go to multiple times. And I think everyone knows about this one, the Kahi Wrinkle Bomb.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
The pink tube. Yeah. So those are getting way out of hand. I don't think that's going away, but it's just getting more and more ridiculous.
I took advantage of the fact that we were doing the K-drama episode today. And if anybody's watching, you can see to my left, or I don't even know what side if Zoom flips it, but I have my K beauty products that I bought off of Amazon from the body shop or the beauty shop or whatever. But these I've been swearing by for the past like year and a half. Y'all should have seen my face in November of last year. It was busted. So these are all the things that I use for my beauty routine. So if anybody wants the links, I'll share them. But yes, I'm doing this little thing here in honor of the K-drama blatant beauty product and other product placement that is honestly abusive and it's aggressive. And
it is.
They need to stop.
It is.
Okay, now to the part that we think everyone should really pay so close attention to. Please pull out your notes or the notepad app if you are being environmentally friendly, which you should be, because Jess has an awesome TikTok series that inspired this question about K-dramas that don't really have a lot of popular acclaim, but that are worth the watch. So with that said, we're going to take things up a little notch and we're going to go to the next level and get some rapid line recommendations from the K-drama queen herself. Please,
oh my God,
Laura, ask away.
So Jess, if you have to pick 5 K-dramas for the categories that we'll talk about, like your life depending on it, which would make your list? So the first one, top 5 K-dramas of all time. That's a heavy question.
That is such a heavy question. Yeah, so you guys made me really think through this question because I never rank K-dramas. Like I just don't.
You're not toxic.
No, like I'm never like, oh my God, is this one better than this one? Well, they're different. Like, no, never. I never do that. I just give them a score and then I move on.
That's probably good for you as a podcast person. Like it is good that you don't have favorite children. They're just all, you're all just there for the tea, just for like, whatever it is.
We're all like, yeah. And I just,
so wholesome.
It's so difficult for me. But for 5 must-watch K-dramas / top 5 of all time, I would probably stick to these 5, and all of these are different genres. So first one would be, and these aren't in any particular order, just 5.
She's not ranking
just to make sure.
Not ranking them.
Not ranking them.
I'm not. So the first one I'll say is My Mister. I feel like this one was just one of the best K-dramas that I've ever seen. It's got IU and very moody, very dark, but so triumphant in the end, and a lot of different things that you can glean from it, especially from a mental health aspect. And we reviewed it on Daebak K-Rambles, and I had Nuna's Nunchi on for that one, and she's a mental health expert and therapist. And so I watched it while I was in the process of losing my grandmother, and I cried on the podcast episode. So that was 0 out of 10 would recommend like crying on a podcast episode and like having it out there for everyone to hear. But My Mister was very emotional, very deep K-drama. So I highly recommend My Mister. Another one that I recommend is Strong Woman Dobong Soon. A ton of people have watched Strong Woman already, or Strong Girl Dobong Soon, however you want to call it. It is so light. One of the best K-drama couples of all time. Like Park Hyung-sik and what's her name? Park Bo-young. Really cute couple, fun comedy in the show. And a lot of people, this is like an entry point for them. I didn't realize it until I like started a TikTok or something that was like, oh, the 2K dramas that people first watched. It was Chloe and Boys Over Flowers. And people were like, what is this strong woman Dobong Soon erasure? And I was like, what? So I didn't realize that people kind of came into K-dramas around the time that Strong Woman Dobong Soon was airing, and they caught that one. DP, which is a Netflix original with my boy, I call him Holy Hain because of his Instagram handle, but it's Jung Hain, and it's not, I almost don't think it's a K-drama at all because it is so powerful and assaulting on the senses and really uncomfortable at times and frustrating at other times. It makes you really upset. But I think it's a rare K-drama that makes Korea look bad. And that's something to talk about. I feel like we should celebrate it more. It won a bunch of awards and it was recognized a lot by the industry. And I think it's one of the top K-dramas that there are to watch, but it's not for the faint of heart. Like every trigger warning that there is for the K-drama, just beware, but it's not a romance by any stretch. The next K-drama is a slice of life K-drama because this is my first life. And I think it's underrated, but a lot of people, when I post about it, people are like, oh, I love that show. It's so good. And I'm like, okay. So like people watch it and they just don't talk about it then because it's really, really good slice of life. I don't usually recommend slice of life dramas, but this one stole my heart. The last one is a fantasy romance and it's Goblin. And it's just because it has a lot of Koreanness to it and a lot of lore in it that people might not get. They just kind of have to accept because they're not Korean and they don't get the significance and things, but that's fine. I think it's got a really good romance, just weird age gap in it, which you kind of have to like live through and understand that it exists. Kongyu is the main star along with Kim Go-eun. Really great show. I do have some miscellaneous like runner-ups that I would like to throw out there because I already gave my 5. Okay. So Our Beloved Summer, Squid Game, Signal, which is a crime fantasy K-drama, the Reply series, which is a slice of life, 2521, which it was a very contentious drama this year, but I think it's really good all-time drama. And then Weightlifting Fairy, which is a sports college romance drama with a lot of fun in it. I think Laura, you saw that one? Weightlifting Fairy. Love Weightlifting Fairy. So I always recommend it too.
Their chemistry is so amazing.
So
they
good.
Were also dating in real life.
Yeah, they dated in real life and then they broke up in real life. So we basically just have Weightlifting Fairy as like a time capsule of their love.
It was so good. So good. I actually read the webtoon for Our Beloved Summer. I just finished it a couple of months ago, maybe a month or 2 ago. And it has been on my watch list because the comic or the artist who did this actually wrote one of my favorite like webtoons. And just a webtoon, I was like, oh my God.
Everybody says a Goblin, like it's on everyone's list of top like things. So I think that one really, if anybody is like thinking about getting into K-dramas, and I think it's interesting, Jess, that you said that like the Koreanness of it is so appealing because you were saying how like some of the K-dramas are kind of losing that because of globalization. So that's interesting that that's such a recent drama and people are so obsessed with it precisely because of how Korean.
Recent, not really, because that's a 2016 K-drama.
I think anything like after 2015 in K-drama world is like semi-recent. I know that like, with the pipeline is because of how many shows come out every year.
I feel the same way that 2016 dramas are not that old.
They're not. They're
not
really
that old.
It was like
but
really
people like you talk to people, especially on the TikTok, and they're like, "Ew, a 2015 K-drama? That's so old."
They're children. They were probably 3 years old.
People love to be wrong on TikTok. That's my hot take of the day. People love to be wrong on TikTok.
Just children.
Or like I sent you guys that meme that was like a little ducky with sunglasses on. Well, it's like a rubber duck, and on the bottom it says "Splish Splash, your opinions are trash."
Facts. That's how we have to treat all the TikTok opinions, honestly, because those comment section, girl.
Moving on. 5 overrated K-dramas. the ones we should skip.
Okay, this is where I'm gonna bust out with some hot takes.
Jess is about to be
Do it.
controversial
Do
yet
it.
brave, and you all need to
Oh,
cuddle
okay.
her in your warm hug and let
Do
her
not-
express herself.
Yes, let me express myself. Do not come for me. I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, this is my opinion, okay?
She said what she said, and she did
I
not
said
send
what
for
I
you.
said. Here we go. In rapid fire.
I love it.
You don't need to watch these. I think these are overrated. Crash Landing on You, Hometown Cha Cha Cha, Reply 1988, and True Beauty.
Oh.
I said what I
she
said.
She said
You
what
don't
she
need to
said.
watch it. Are they good? Will they give you warm and fuzzies? Yeah. Is it essential K-drama watching? Probably not. Are these the best K-dramas of all time? No. So these are my opinions, and on a good day you might catch me and I'll be like, yeah, you should definitely watch Crash Landing on You. You should definitely watch Hometown Cha Cha Cha. If that's your genre, go for it. But for me, I don't necessarily feel any strong type of way. Like, these were great dramas for a season, and then looking back, I'm just like, I don't find them rewatchable, which is a huge like thing for me. And yeah, here's some more for you though. these are ones you should definitely skip. I don't know why, and these are ones that I don't know why people like them. Like, it doesn't compute.
Girl,
So here we go.
Looking at the list, and I'm scared for you.
I'm
Go.
excited.
Go.
I got Boys Over Flowers.
Ugh, agree.
Airs, also with Lee Min-ho.
Ugh,
Or Lee Min-ho.
agree.
Something happened in Bali, which I hope nobody knows about. I hope nobody has seen this. What's Wrong with Secretary Kim?
Oh, that hurts, but you're right.
And My Love from the Star.
She
I said
said
what I
what
said.
she said. She dropped the mic and walked
I
away.
did drop
y'all.
the mic. Well, I won't drop this mic, but I will drop a mic.
I mean, if you have opinions, like, feel free to share them in the comments, and
Mhm.
respectfully, as always,
State your case respectfully.
We're
Okay.
welcoming opinions. We are ready to change our minds based on respectful and good arguments, or maybe we won't change our minds, and that's fine. That's beautiful. That's literally the point of life. So
Agree.
Yeah.
Man, Boys Over Flowers and Airs are terrible.
we actually have a reel about how Laura feels about Boys Over Flowers. So head over to our Instagram and catch that in 4K.
Airs, the first episode when they're in California.
Oh my
Literally,
God.
my skin was crawling from the embarrassment.
Well, the thing
I
is,
couldn't.
there was a lot of so if you want to talk about the first episode of Airs, they have it in Cali, in LA, and they're in like Malibu 1 second, and the next second they're like running away from somebody, and they run to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I'm like, that's like
The
you
math
can't-
isn't mathing.
No.
Math isn't mathing. Who's a
It was
marathon
scary.
runner in this story?
It
Who?
was scary. I was like, is this 3 days later? Like, what is you can't run to the Walk of Fame from that place that you were at. It was very concerning to me, because then I'm like, the Koreans are going to see that and they're going to think that all these things are next to each other. and
They're gonna
not.
make their itinerary for their trips, and they're gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna go to Malibu, and then like right after we're gonna go to the Walk of Fame because it's right
Yeah.
by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. that's
No,
so funny.
no, not even close. I was frustrated when I watched that part of Airs. Oh man.
And that kind of segues us into our next question. I kind of only watched it because it was one of the classics, but just because it's a classic, you don't have to watch it, like Jess said. So, in your opinion, which K-drama genre yields the highest quality K-dramas? And please rank them. We love ranking things
Okay,
here.
yeah, I can see that. So this was very difficult. Actually, this was not so difficult for me. So I firmly believe that the highest quality K-dramas come from the action/thriller genre. You have things like Signal, Squid Game, All of Us Are Dead, Kingdom, DP, etc. And it's not a coincidence that most of those are Netflix dramas. Next up on the ranking of highest quality K-dramas, I have slice of life K-dramas. You have, in this genre, you have K-dramas like Because This Is My First Life, My Liberation Notes, the Reply series, My Mister, Something in the Rain, 2521, Our Beloved Summer. These are all considered slice of life K-dramas. And I love them all. Even though it's not my genre, I can appreciate like when it's good, it's good. Next, I would say that the sageuk/historical K-dramas are pretty amazing. So you have K-dramas like The Red Sleeve, The Princess's Man, which is woefully underrated to me, The Moon That Embraces the Sun, The Crowned Clown, Rookie Historian, Guharyong, and so many more. These are really good historical K-dramas that have some comedy, have some romance, have a lot of political intrigue, have the added bonus of being period pieces. To me, that's a bonus. Some people think it's a minus, but whatever. And then next, I would say that the fantasy romance school dramas kind of bring up the rear in terms of quality.
Makes sense.
And I feel bad in saying that because sometimes people really gravitate towards those
I do.
K-dramas, but
I do.
I think that in terms of quality, and I'm taking everything into account, right? Like OST, cinematography, talent in front of the screen, acting chops, story, plot, all that stuff forms my opinion of like what is a great K-drama, like what's a high quality K-drama. And usually the fantasy ones are always fucking around with their own plot, like they're just like messed up. And then the romance ones, lately it's been like on the downtrend, like those romance ones haven't been so good. And then school ones, I feel like they're just stuck in the same plots, recycling the same plots over and over again versus getting a little bit more unique. And that adds to, usually the school dramas have younger actors, untested actors, people who later go on to do a great saga, a great slice of life, a great action thriller K-drama, and they're just kind of cutting their teeth. Idols show up in school dramas and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, you know, so those dramas are lower on my list.
I will mostly watch fantasy, romance, and school dramas, and I know they're not that good, but like I accept this and I
if
move
it
on.
feeds you, it feeds you.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. It's not like you go around recommending them like they're Pulitzer winning award things. Like, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm watching this because it's like my trash. Like, it's just like everyone that watches reality TV, but they know that it's trash because it's a guilty pleasure, and that's it.
Right.
Something that I like you just mentioned, a lot of these actors tend to be the newer ones that don't have a lot of experience, and you can see their growth going into the other genres. Like Cha Anu, he did My ID is Gangnam Beauty.
Oh yes.
And it was like watching a cardboard act. I love him. he's my bias in Astro. Like I love him.
She has like 3 biases in Astro. Don't trust her.
But he
don't trust her.
But he was not a very good actor at the very beginning. But when I saw the Rookie Historian and his growth as an actor, I was like,
girl,
okay, I believe you now. Okay, you're okay.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah,
it was not a good start. But
it was not a good start. You had like, you were like, this wasn't good.
No, it really wasn't. It made me dislike him. I was like, who the but it's
he's
nice
living off that pretty privilege, you know.
I mean, well, no, he's actually super talented.
See, they fool you. They fool you.
But it was not a good one. And it's nice to see that like they move on to like the other genres that make better quality K-dramas, and you can see that progression. Okay, so finally, bonus question.
Yes.
Time to be controversial yet brave, which I think you've been doing.
Yeah.
But
I'm the bravest when there's nobody here. Nobody's talking shit about me.
I haven't watched enough K-dramas to be controversial yet, but I did call out Shiny Styling Team, so I'm trying, you know?
That's true.
That was a good one though.
That's true. Okay. What are your 5 most hated K-drama tropes?
Okay. Only 5. Wow, okay.
It's hard. I know it's hard.
You'd be here all day if I was talking about what I hated about the tropes. Okay. The met as children trope. I want to fucking retire it so bad because it is so been there, done that.
Yeah.
It's like you have a wonderful story, great plot, 2 characters. Oh my God, they're so great together. And then they met as children. It like sinks the whole show for me almost. Yeah. Nowadays, I think it's so dated. They just leave it. You have the disapproving / overbearing parents or grandparents, which to me is tried and true, but also we can retire that very easily and not have overbearing parents. It is almost like you find a supportive parent in a K-drama and you're just like, oh my God, that is amazing. Like you start thinking this is a revolutionary K-drama because it is so often that you have a parent that is somewhat disapproving, overbearing, terrible, somewhat abusive to their children or their stepchildren. So I would rather them try and write in a nice parent for a change. Sudden illness / amnesia is old school. And a derivative of that is the surprise car crash, getting run over by a white truck suddenly. This one, again, I think I did a TikTok recently where I said something about the white truck in K-dramas, and people were like, I get so much anxiety when people cross the street in K-dramas. I tense up when they get near the street, and I'm like, oh my God, these poor people. And it's absolutely true that it is just a wreck.
It is
for your nerves, for your sanity, when all of a sudden out of nowhere someone gets run over or they get some sort of crazy serious illness. So those top three right there. 4, I hate the ugly duckling trope, which is you have a man or a woman who is so obviously attractive, but they just put glasses in bad fashion on them, and they're like, oh, they're so ugly. And I'm like, no, they're not. They have freckles. Oh my God, that's not ugly. Oh my God, they're just tan. They have tan skin. They're not ugly. Like, it's very frustrating, especially when we have our Western beauty standards, which are nothing like the Asian beauty standards.
The call out from the beginning of the episode.
Steve Buscemi catching stray bullets. Sorry to Steve Buscemi because I love Steve Buscemi, but I mean, the point had to be made. But
how do you do, fellow kids?
That's right. He's got that meme.
He's got that meme going for him.
Damn. So sorry, first of all, to Steve Buscemi. Second of all, I hate the trope of the ugly duckling, and they obviously have a makeover at some point during the K-drama, and it's like, oh my God, a Hollywood star all of a sudden underneath all of that denim and flannel and glasses. Yeah. They have a bad perm. Why? I don't know. And then they fix it and they're like, oh my God. Yeah. Always. And then this is a toss up for my 5th one. I can't tell which one I dislike more. Back pats or Subway product placement. It's a toss up because the back pats to me is also maybe very cultural.
Yeah.
Because in Korea, they evidently always give back pats. We don't have that in Hispanic culture. Mm-mm. We just hug. I still don't like it, even after a decade or more than a decade of watching K-dramas. I just never liked it. And then Subway, fuck Subway.
Say it with your chest.
I love it. I love it.
It'll be like, let's go have lunch. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. I can't wait to have lunch. Let's go to someplace really good. Subway.
Eat fresh.
What?
I saw one of our favorite rappers / comedian / she can do everything, Eun-G. She was doing her show No Prepare, and she got sponsored by Subway one of the episodes, and I was like, not here too, bro. No. You have all the K-drama market share.
Stay away.
Please give me one thing without Subway.
Are they even big in America still?
No, I don't think so. I think after Jared and after the yoga mat ingredients, they're not.
Just so terrible. You walk in and you're like, I'm dirty. It's just the cheese has been there all for days, and
yeah.
The cookies are good though.
The cookies are still good.
Cookies are fire. You're right. The cookies are good.
The cookies will hit. The cookies will absolutely hit.
I love a cookie.
Hit in a pinch. Yeah. In a pinch, those cookies will definitely hit.
For me, because I have a lot of opinions on this particular thing.
Oh my God, tell me.
One of my biggest tropes that I don't like is a love triangle.
Oh,
I hate the love triangle because I always love the second male lead more than the first male lead. And the second male lead always ends up sad. Like in the love triangle, the two main characters end up happy and whatever, and the second male leads just has to accept and be like, I'm living for your happiness. Like, fuck that. Like, why? How many real people actually experience love triangles? It's hard to get one person to like you and two
at the same time.
It is, and so
the women are like meh, you know, like
right, like what's the like draw here for these guys, you know, like
imitation. It's this K-drama that came out.
Imitation. Yes. The with all of the SF9 and ATs.
Right. Yeah. The main character, the main lead,
he was mean.
And she had all these men like,
after her,
crawling, like just to get her to like just look at them, and I'm like,
So here's my caveat to that is that I don't like a love triangle when it's really contrived and isn't like well done.
Agreed.
However, when it's one woman with like all of these guys after her, I'm like, that's a female fantasy. Most K-dramas are written by women. So this is like, you know, them just letting loose. If it was the other way around, we'd be like, oh, this is so icky. Like every K-drama is just like a male fantasy.
You know, I have a lot of experience in the K-drama world. I've watched like maybe 5 or 6 to date, including like one web drama, but whatever. But that whole like every man wants this one woman is giving very Emily in Paris. Very unrealistic. And as someone who lived in London while Emily in Paris came out, I was feeling very attacked by I'm like, where are all these men that live in my building and want to fix my vibrator for me? Where is this? Like I don't
where yes, I'm feeling you. Like where I am a young, like semi-young career woman with a really good funny personality, where the fuck is my love triangle?
Like, you know, this girl used 2 hashtags on Instagram and she got a fucking deal with like, I hated Emily in Paris so much.
Oh god.
You don't understand.
I feel you.
So that whole like one woman being, you know, vied after by all these people, it's just I get that there's some girls that for sure, you know, IU want, like everybody wants
IU though.
He's fucking IU. Exactly.
IU is not human, actually. I think she's just created.
Really not.
Yeah.
She's not. She was made in a
manufactured.
Lab,
yes.
100%. But yeah, so I don't buy that. Those so I don't know if maybe if I watch a few dramas, I'll come back to you guys in a year or two, let you know how I feel about that. But now it just doesn't feel very realistic. And I do like to have some level of relatability. So
for me, it's just justice for the second male lead, man. Justice for the second male lead.
They craft some really nice guys.
And then they like shit on them.
Well, okay. So what's annoying about the love triangles is there's usually one asshole and one really nice guy who is a great pick if you're the leading lady, and they're both like wildly attractive. So why is she picking the asshole who treated her like shit for 6 episodes when she has this guy who was like there the whole time?
Because if they're mean to you, that means they like you. Oh my god.
Fuck
guys, he spit on me. He totally wants to be my like baby daddy. Hello.
Meanwhile, we're telling the K-pop idol step on
me. Yeah, meanwhile, yeah.
No, his mom bankrupted my whole family and now I can't go to school. And he told me to lick the ice cream off his boot because I accidentally dropped ice cream on him, and now he's stalking me at school, and like he has goals.
Boys over flower is trash. I can't.
He made everybody in the school beat me up and set things on fire and try to kill me. And like, it's fine. We're cool now. Like, he's fine now.
The worst.
And wait, one tiny little segue for Laura. Not in her defense, but to add context, she also stands a lot of least popular members in boy groups for K-pop. So it does make sense that she goes so hard for the second male lead.
The underdog.
She's into that a lot.
Okay. Another one. that I just cannot stand, and it is also super popular in Webtoons and Manhwas, and it literally makes my skin crawl.
What is
Teacher
it?
student, or like older, or like
Right.
older sister, older brother with like super young like person, like they've known each other since they're babies. One is significantly older, has treated that person as a little sister, little brother, and then they grow up, and then all of a sudden, like, it's romantic. Like,
Ew. Oh, stop.
no, it just
There,
pisses
it's
me
giving
off.
Celine Dion. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
Too
my
soon?
God, Celine Dion catching
Yes.
stray bullets with Renee. Oh my
Mhm,
gosh.
mhm.
Renee's
It's the
robbed the
worst.
cradle. That's a famous chasm of an age gap here in the West. The Celine Dion marriage. Oh my God. He discovered her when she was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting.
I think people said
Yeah.
even 12.
And he
I-
was
it-
married. She was the other woman. It was this whole fucking
like,
thing.
It was a lot. You
Yeah.
deserve better, Celine.
Truly. And then my last one.
What do you have?
Strongly about these. So I haven't seen this happen recently, but like it was a trope that I'm glad has been put to death.
Oh, good.
And it's the whole dressing women as men and then selling them off as men. Having
Oh, the
one
gender
of the male
benders.
leads, the second male lead, always the second male lead, fall in love with this man, question their sexuality, come to terms with it, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I'm a girl. And it's like,
So you don't like copy prints?
I watched it, I like it, but it pisses me off.
That's a famous gender bender.
I know, I liked it. It was great. I enjoyed it.
I
but
need
like
to
it
rewatch
pisses
that.
me
Laura
off.
said cancel Mulan. Laura said cancel Mulan, y'all. I don't
No.
know. I don't know.
You know which one comes to mind?
To the Beautiful You.
To the Beautiful You.
That's
That's
it.
the one.
Yes.
With Mino from Shiny.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That was a
Such a
school
good
one,
actor.
like a sports school or something.
It pisses
Did
me
we
off
see
because
he's gonna get a drama on Netflix?
yes, I'm so happy
So
for him. I love him.
excited.
And
I know
Shany's
it's
so
Netflix and we canceled Netflix, but you know, we're happy for Mino getting his money.
No, yeah, they're gonna pay him fairly, I believe.
Mhm.
So that's good.
But it just that one in particular made my blood boil because the second male lead had this whole internal turmoil and like was fine with it in the end, and he was such a good character, and then they just literally put a pile of dog poop on him and just whoop, the end, period.
Yeah.
To the Beautiful You was a gender bender, so you don't like that one.
No, I fucking hate. I mean, I watched it all because I love the second male lead, but like, I hated it.
Okay, Jess. So we've kept you long enough, but we do have one last question, and we are wanting to take advantage of the fact that it is Hispanic Heritage Month. So let's talk about if you remember any novelas from childhood or early teens or whatever that maybe impacted the way that you consume content, like K-dramas and the movies for your podcast and stuff like that. I'm going to say probably K-dramas more than anything.
So I used to watch some novelas with my grandma or my abuelos, and they were like Saturday night novelas and Friday night novelas. Like we would just go over to their house. They would just have them on, and the novelas on the Spanish channels, it's like one after another.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what the K-dramas are like in Korea when you watch them live. It's like one after another. Like at 7, I have
Probably.
this. At 8, I have this. And the only one that I vividly remember watching with my abuela was this one from 2003 called Rebecca.
I remember.
Have you guys heard of it?
So
You
that
remember
one,
it?
That one was playing. I moved here in 2003. So that was one of the very first ones that I think I caught when I moved here. And yeah, it's very like Univision and Telemundo from 7 to 10 are playing novelas.
Yeah.
And I remember, I definitely remember seeing that one.
Yes. This was I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Mariana Seoane. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ricardo Alamo.
Yep. I'm sure her name is pronounced differently elsewhere, but at least in Hispanic TV and when they did interviews and stuff, it was Seoane. It was like they read out the whole thing. Yeah. I remember it.
Yeah. And it was a Cinderella type story.
Always.
Yeah.
That always, it never fails. From Marimar to Rebecca, you're always going to find it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's it. I feel bad. I didn't watch the Hispanic or the Spanish version, but I watched the America Ferrera version of Betty La Fea, so Ugly Betty.
Mhm.
And that one was so underwhelming. Like the ending, I would say, was not what you wanted because obviously you want her to get together with her dude. And it takes like all this time for them to just be like mildly interested in each other.
Yeah, Betty La Fea was a cultural reset in Colombia and even in
Reset.
Venezuela. Like it went deep.
Done.
Like, so there's an episode in Betty La Fea in the Spanish Colombian version when they first have sex. And I swear to God,
What?
that
They
day,
even have
that-
sex in the Hispanic
Oh,
version?
yeah,
for
because you know,
sure.
it's
That's
in
a
a
big
novela. Novelas
point.
are
Ay,
very
Dios
like,
mío.
but it wasn't graphic. It wasn't
No,
like
no,
like
no.
No,
novelas,
I'm
even
not
at the
expecting.
time, it wasn't like crazy, but it was like you knew because she had been writing in her diary and all these things that like it was about to go down, and it finally did. And he had like they had sex, and I'm telling you, at the moment that that episode was playing, you couldn't catch a cab in Colombia. Like you
No.
couldn't get service anywhere. Everybody was
Yeah.
glued to the TV watching this.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That novela really changed the history of Colombian TV. Like there's a before and after. There's a
It
few of
is.
them. There's like Pedro el Escamoso, Betty la
Ugh.
Fea, Café con aroma de mujer. Like there's a few novelas that really are considered timeless and
Yeah.
just people still watch
Wow.
them again.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact that it became an American franchise is
Yeah.
super exciting. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think my family has watched Betty La Fea like 4 times.
Wow.
Laura's bachelorette like trip in Medellin. There was what 9 of us, I think, in the
Yeah,
we rented
about.
an Airbnb and we had plans every day, but Laura also had, thankfully, thank you, Laura, a very relaxed itinerary in general, and it was very like how we feel. So this was like the last night. We had been through a lot. We had like ridden horses. We had gone on a boat. Like it was but it was great.
The
It
group was changed.
genuinely, it was a lot, but it was like the last night. We had been there for already 4 or 5 days. Like
Oh
it was,
no.
you know, it was a lot. So
You
like
guys were
Laura was like,
done
we're
then.
kind of tired. Let's just like stay in. We literally just binge watched Betty La Fea like the whole time.
All
of us,
That
like,
is
for the
a
last
wonderful bachelorette to
It
end on that note.
It was.
Yeah.
It literally was great. So
was
I don't know. Also, my family has probably watched it a bunch of times too, because I know in Colombia, like there's actually a channel that is dedicated to playing old novelas. So there's
Shut
like the
up.
Mexican
So
novelas, like
good.
Itatí Cantoral, who is like the iconic, like
Yes.
dramatic Mexican
I
actress.
love
Like they play her novelas all the
Yes.
time. All the time.
Is she that gif?
Yes.
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 Yes, that's her. They play her novela. Like I was watching it with my mom and I was like, oh, because she's like guarding this paralyzed girl because she's like holding her inheritance. Very Mexican novela, right? And then like somebody, like she walks into her room and she's not there, and like the cleaning lady or the lady who takes care of her is like, oh, she left, and she goes like without my permission, and it's just like the funniest thing. So me and my mom have this like thing of like seeing
Oh God.
it's great. So I'll say for myself, the ratio of good to bad novelas for me is pretty terrible. Like I watch a lot of trash TV. When I was born and raised in Venezuela, my grandma is a huge novela stan. My parents were both like, please do not teach our daughter this, but I fully watched every novela available in Venezuela, which was mostly Mexican and Colombian for my whole childhood. But the ones that I remember that give me some nostalgia is, again, Café con aroma de mujer, which I think even got remade recently, like not that long ago.
I like
was
the
a huge-
title.
It's like a very well made, deep, not stupid at all, not tropey at all novela in Colombia. It's amazing. It's really good.
Pretty good.
Because you know how Colombia is
shit.
like a big
Yeah.
coffee country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's like, it's a lot about that, and it's more about like the business issues and like, yeah, some family stuff, but like there's a lot of like, it's good. It's actually good.
Yeah.
And it's from the 90s.
Okay.
So it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Betty La Fea, like we mentioned, Ugly Betty. Amigas y Rivales was a Mexican one that like every tween girl watched like in really early 2000s, maybe late 90s, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Juana
Right.
la Virgen is the only point of pride I have with Venezuela, because this got made into Jane the Virgin.
It's
Like
Jane the Virgin.
no one touches Venezuelan content with like 3
Temple
mile
pole.
long stick. Yeah, they won't touch it. But they really did not do it justice in the US. I don't care. I said what I said. But it's fine. At least they did it. And at least something from Venezuela got attention outside.
I watched season 1 of that one, Jane the Virgin, and I got really upset because it's supposed to be set in Miami, right?
I honestly didn't even watch it that much because I was angry by the way that they were playing it. because they didn't really understand and include a lot of the intricacies of what it was in Venezuela and for Venezuelans at the time. So I was not about it, so I didn't watch.
For me, it was supposed to be a Miami show, and there was none of this like Miami flavor, Miami setting, like the palm trees weren't right. And I was like, you basically just set this in
You can tell
LA.
it was written by white people that were trying to understand it, and they or not even understand it. They were trying to make it palatable for other white people that would get it, and it didn't give.
Yeah, no.
But at least somebody from the Hollywood things saw it, got an idea, and hopefully the people in Venezuela are getting money paid in royalties from everybody here that enjoyed the novela. So
hopefully. That was probably a
fingers.
licensing deal and they didn't get anything else besides that, but whatever.
One can only hope.
hope.
And then for personally, I can say like my favorite life defining novelas were like my first car had a name and all the names were based on the actors' names from these novelas. So
I love that.
If you like, that's how much it really meant to me. But there's this Mexican actor, his name is Fernando Colunga. He's like a beautiful Greek god, but Mexican and really fucking tan.
I don't have a face to the name, so I'm gonna look him up.
Please do look him up. He is like the hottest person ever.
I've seen this man. Yes,
yes, you have, because he was in every novela. Yes,
he's like in everything. Yeah,
he was in so many novelas. So he actually had like a really cool partnership with this Mexican director named Carla Estrada. And like I remember vividly, like my mom and I would just watch these novelas endlessly. Like these were the only ones that she allowed herself to watch because they were period novelas. They were all fiction.
This man is so fine.
He is so fine. And he had like a bunch of also other novelas where he was like in a motorcycle. I think he did one of the Maria Mercedes, one of the Talia ones from like the 90s.
Oh my God, a Talia one. Okay.
Yeah. So the three novelas that like defined my life watching him were Alborada, Amor Real, and Pasión. And like his names in the novelas were Manuel, Luis, and Ricardo. And so my first car, which was a Mazda 3, and I called him Puchungo for short.
Oh my God, my first car was a Mazda 3.
Oh my God, I knew I liked you. Awesome. I love this. Okay. I knew there was a bond. Yes. So his full name was Fernando Manuel y Ricardo, but I called him Puchungo for short. That was my car. And it was all because of Fernando Colunga and these novelas. So thank you, Carla Estrada, for giving me like the most amazing content of my childhood / teenagehood.
Oh
and
my God.
That's it for me. I'll stop now.
I applaud you. What color was your Mazda 3?
It was a gray color Mazda 3. It was great.
Oh, mine was blue.
Ooh, girl, you risky. And I did not like the blue with the red lights in the back, but to each their own. I like
it. Looked mean. And it was oh my God, that car was so zippy. I fucking love that car.
That car was everything. That was my first car. That was like my college adventure car. So lots of fun memories. I totally crashed it a few times, but little bumps that would pop back out. That car was so good to me.
Yeah.
So good to me.
Oh my God. Okay, we have Mazda 3 in common. Okay, Laura.
So for me, my experience with novelas is a bit different. I moved to the US in 2000 and I didn't watch American TV until 2010.
Okay,
so
wow.
From 2000 to 2010, my parents refused to get more than one TV with cable because they said that if we had different TVs, we wouldn't spend time as a family. Aww. So we only had one TV. So we would only watch novelas. So from 2000 to 2010, that's all I watched. And my family were like, we have bullying in our blood a little bit. So like we always rank, we just always rank. It's a thing. And so in my household, Colombian novelas were always top. I mean, we're Colombian, so makes sense.
Okay.
Sure. So we would watch so many novelas. We would be on the couch from 7, which were not that good. The 8 p.m. ones were a little bit better.
Yeah.
And the 9 p.m. were like racy. So I was like, oh, I can't see this.
I can't see this.
It's totally same.
So we were there from 7 to 10. The whole 4
as
of
a family.
As a family. So I watched a lot of novelas. My favorite ones are the Colombian ones because I feel like they're very similar to K-dramas. The Mexican novelas tended to be very about like the romance of it. Colombian novelas were exploring different genres. So it wasn't just romance. There were novelas that like touched, there was romance, but they also touched in a lot of different things. So like some of the highlights in my family were Betty la Fea, Pedro el Escamoso, Pecados Capitales, This one isn't.
Pecados capitales.
Oh, bro, it is amazing. Let me tell you, amazing. I downloaded it to watch on a really long flight, and I am sitting in my chair almost peeing my pants because it is hilarious. So the whole premise is that there's this guy who doesn't have any immediate family, but he's gonna die soon because of a sickness. So what he does is he invites his extended family
Yes.
to live in his house
Oh no.
for his inheritance.
Yes.
And the whole premise is you can't leave the house. If you leave the house, you're not going to get anything.
Oh my God.
The character is is
one of
like
the deadly sins.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I love
It
it.
is so good.
Yes.
It is so good. Like my whole family, we were like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh my God.
Nice.
It was great.
So who got the inheritance?
I don't remember right now.
Ay.
I watched it when I was really
Jess, you're gonna
little.
have to watch it. You're gonna
I'm gonna have to watch it.
You're gonna have to
It's
go
on
like
Netflix.
on this 8 month.
It's on
journey.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
A
You're
lot
gonna
of
have to get
Colombian
on this.
novelas are on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like my parents have watched it about 5 times. I am not kidding you. And they freaking love it. And I
Wow.
only watch the ones rewatch the ones that I downloaded for that one flight. And I'm like, why haven't I watched this? Now that I'm an adult, because it came out in like 2002. I was 12, 11. I didn't really understand a lot of it, but rewatching it now, I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. It's pretty good. Just to close it off, the novela that changed my whole life was La Usurpadora with Gaby Spanik.
Yeah.
Wait, who? With who?
Gaby
Gabriela
Spanik.
Spanik. Spanic.
Let me tell you, obviously I went for the bad because
Of course. So she's a twin.
Thank you.
And it's like an evil twin and a good twin. And then they replace each other. Like it's a whole thing. Can I tell you that
There's
I
a
met
couple
her?
K-dramas like that.
I'm sure there are. Can I tell you that I met her? I was on vacation with my parents and I was a little girl. I don't know, maybe like in Aruba, Margarita, some island thing. And my mom and I went to a store and she was being paid to be like model for like a perfume or like something. And she was wearing this beautiful lime green 60s mod fashion dress.
Oh.
And I walked in and I saw her, of course, super starstruck. This woman is fucking gorgeous. And my impertinent ass, like I don't know, 9 years old and she was at the time, I think she was dating like a Venezuelan actor, so it was all like tea, like, oh my God, are you here with him, like what's it going? And I go like, where are you staying? And my mom's like, Kati, you don't ask that to people, like the famous people, because they can't tell you. And she was just like laughing and nice, and she gave me like her perfume sample or whatever. But she's beautiful in person, like beautiful. And this was right around that time too of the La Usurpadora, like gorgeous.
I wanted to be the evil twin. She was everything to me. Oh my God, her short hair, the red lipstick,
the bob. Yeah.
Okay, no, now I have to look up her character.
Wanted to be her. Like I can't. I just,
because it was like the good character was like a pushover.
Oh my God, fabulous.
Yes,
I know.
She looks fabulous.
She was so perfect for that role. Like she played both roles really, really well. I really like enjoyed that novela. That was one of those like cliffhanger ones. Like every episode ends in a cliffhanger. That was one of them. And
she was wearing always red or like dark colors.
Yes.
And then the good one was always in like light pinks and like pastels. And I'm like,
yeah.
It was amazing.
This is Laura's villain origin story.
I had a great time. Oh my God, is that why I like short hair and red lipstick?
Probably.
That could be it.
This is our therapy session.
That's subliminal.
Oh, she was really evil though. Like actually,
she was.
She was bad.
Okay. You have one more on your list, Laura, that is Mexican.
I do. Oh, Luz Clarita.
When I saw that name, I was like, my brain hurts. Like I just thought, like I remember the soundtrack, like Luz Clarita.
It was like a children's novela. Like the main character was a child.
Okay,
and like there was actually, and
I remember my biggest fear when I was little. Sorry that I keep like talking, but I'm so excited about this because I feel like finally all the things that I did for so many years when I was little are finally coming into play. But when I was little, my biggest fear was having appendicitis from watching these novelas when every fucking child had appendicitis and they had to go take it out. I was like, the right side of my body hurts, Mom.
That's great. That's great.
For my parents.
The fear.
I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I thought appendicitis would be a bigger part of our lives.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Like
It's not that
I
bad.
think in my life I've seen one person that had appendicitis. No, two. That's it.
I know a few,
seen
but
a
yeah, it
couple.
really hasn't been that big of it wasn't as big of a problem
And
as I
it
thought it was gonna be.
yes, it was not this. Oh my god, they're dying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my
It
god,
ruptured.
it ruptured. Let's pray. Let's call everyone. Like, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
With that, unfortunately, it is time to say goodbye to our lovely, amazing guest, Jess. It was truly such a pleasure to have you. And we're so glad that this world of Korean entertainment brought us together, because we just have so much
Yes.
fun in the DMs, because it's a fun time. And being shady on IG and TikTok, it's just
Oh,
like
always.
doesn't get old. It's the best. So do you have any parting words for our audience, or any reminders for where to find you?
Well, definitely watch K-dramas. Give them a try. Even the overrated ones that I said before are a good entry point for anybody to try and get in on some K-dramas. Lots of people got in on K-dramas with Crash Landing on You. The Chloe fam is alive and well. Just press play. What's it going to hurt? Subtitles are a whole new world. So please give them a shot. It's a great way for just you to get vary up your television watching or your entertainment. Whole new world.
I think I'm gonna get a
And-
hashtag trending that is like "Oppa is not babe." I think
Oppa-
that's gonna be my passion project for the next year.
Oppa is not babe.
Yeah,
Oppa
that's
is
my
I like that.
hashtag. That's my hashtag.
I
for the
like
year.
that.
You should make enamel pins that just say
Oppa is not babe.
yeah.
I might. I just might.
I
Fuck
like
around and
it.
find out. Has been
Yeah.
my motto this
Who's
year.
like a
so.
classic oppa that you could draw for the enamel pin as well? Maybe like Hyunbin. Like you could just like draw Hyunbin.
I'm
and then
gonna go for maybe
Oppa-
Hyunsik. Maybe a little Park Hyunsik. Maybe, I don't
Hey,
Is he?
hey.
Yeah, he's Oppa.
know. To
he's
me,
Oppa,
he
right?
is. And it's
I
just
love
about
him.
Probably not. I'm probably Nuna.
No. Yes.
She's like,
Well,
no.
Oppa is a
Yes,
state of mind.
we all
guys.
are
Oppa is a
actually.
state of mind. It's
Yeah.
It is a
we
state of
agree.
mind. Or Kongyu. Kongyu is great
Ooh.
for oppa because
Let's-
he's older.
Taekyeon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
very
do
good
Taekyeon.
looking.
We're
Ooh,
gonna do
he is
Tech.
all-
Ugh.
That's
Tech is our age. Like Tech, if you're watching, if you're listening, like don't let the hurricane like scare you off. Like
For anyone
Wow, I
who's not
love
watching,
this.
you should, because Jess's background this whole time has been like the Doppler.
it's
of-
Hurricane Ian. Yeah, about to make landfall.
Again, Floridians, we guys, we're used to this. Like we take
We're just
it in
trying.
stride. We do our best.
We
to
have
just,
to
like,
have a sense of humor. We have to laugh
we
it off.
do, we
Otherwise,
do.
like the destruction will just break us. We're
Yeah.
very resilient here. And
Yeah.
you know, this is our version of a hurricane party. We can't all be together right now, but we're here virtually and like we're having a good time.
Yeah, we're making the best of it. Right before we all
Look, I
probably
had
lose
drinks and
power.
everything. I
Yeah,
had a drink and
Jess,
everything.
Jess was drinking because of us, because she wanted to join the party. So thank you, Jess,
Yeah,
for being such a good
yeah.
sport. And before I forget, please know that we are featured guests on Jess's podcast. We reviewed the drama Love All Play.
Yeah.
Or something about coming at someone at 493 kilometers an hour or whatever. I don't know. Miami
Yeah.
people don't do kilometers, we do miles, but that's another story for another day. So thank you, Jess, for having us on your podcast. We had so much fun reviewing that
Yes.
episode and
We had
watching
such a good time together.
drama. That was like my
Okay.
probably 4th or 5th. So
Oh my God,
very
yeah,
early on
you're-
in my K-drama baby stages. So thank you for
Yes.
having us.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was such a great
Thank you.
time. We have to do this again.
Yes, we do.
For
Yes,
sure.
we do.
Yeah.
And we always say that Kathy and I are 96% in the same page, always on the same page, 96%. In this particular review of Love All Play is where that 4% came in strong.
Yep.
I would say in K-drama world in general. I think
That's-
our thoughts are not always aligned anymore in K-drama
No,
world.
no.
So,
So if you want to hear that, you should definitely give
Yeah.
Jess's podcast. a
Yeah,
listen.
keep an eye on the feed. Obviously, we're hosted by Anchor, so we're available everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and you can find us on the socials. I say us, but it's really me. It's just me. Rico didn't want anything to do with the socials. He was like, "You just, I see you're passionate. Just handle it." So I'm on the socials at ATC Daebak Pod, and I'd love to see you guys over there. Please talk K-dramas with me. I am talking to your girls, Kathy and Laura, all the time. If you have suggestions for like more collabs for us, what do you want to see from us? Like, please let us know. We're
Maybe
all
they want to watch
ears.
us review La Usurpadora. I don't know.
Hey.
Pecados Capitales, bro. That has like 200 episodes.
Yeah, it's gonna take us a while, guys.
Oh man.
Thank you so much, Jess. We really appreciate your time
Thank you.
and all the great insights. We really, really, really had the best time today.
Oh,
We really
thank
did.
you. Let's
And
do it
stay
again.
safe, stay dry.
Yes.
Stay
Everyone
safe.
else,
We'll do this
Florida,
again. No hurricane. No
we got
hurricane
this.
next time.
You got this.
Good.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the MIA2K podcast. We have lots of great content coming up ahead, so please don't forget to follow and subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you enjoyed our episodes, please rate us 5 stars.
And for the real-time tea, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook by searching for @MIA2K Podcast. Dale. Bye.